In a crowded space tavern, a group of powerful alien warriors known as the Viserians spot humans, ranked 9th in galactic strength, occupying a prime spot. Confident in their physical dominance, the Viserians challenge the humans, expecting an easy victory. But what they don't realize is that strength is more than just size and raw power. The humans come from a high-gravity world that made their bodies dense, strong, and tough in ways the Viserians never measured. What follows is a tense, violent, and surprising clash that will change how the galaxy thinks about power and respect. This story is full of intense action, strong emotions, and big surprises. It shows that assumptions based on numbers can fail when deeper truths are ignored. The stakes are high for pride, survival, and the meaning of true strength. The dim glow of the tavern's lights flickered over the worn metal tables, casting long shadows that danced like restless ghosts. This place was a crossroads for many species, a refuge for travelers, traders, and fighters. But tonight, it hummed with an edge of tension, an electric charge that promised trouble. Lix towered over most beings here. 9 feet tall, his leathery gray skin stretched taut over muscles that rippled with strength. The ritual scars marking his broad chest told stories of battles and triumphs. Around him, his friends Zixes and Vorax mirrored his imposing presence, their bodies bristling with power. They belonged to the Viserians, the 4th strongest species in the galaxy, known for their raw, brutal force. For 3 centuries, no species had bested them in pure strength. Tonight, the Viserians had come to their favorite corner tavern, expecting to find familiar faces and calm drinks. But their sharp blue eyes caught something different. At their usual table, near the bar and with a clear view of the entrances, sat 3 bipeds. Humans. Small, furless, and ranked 9th in the galactic strength list, far below the Viserians. Lix's lips curled into a confident grin. 9th place was no threat to the mighty Viserians. The air shifted as Lix and his friends rose, their heavy footsteps thudding against the floor panels. Size mattered here. It always did. Big meant power, dominance. They approached with cold calculation, their presence drawing wary glances. Zixes moved first, his massive frame leaning close to the tallest human. The alien's long silver hair, a sign of pride, fell across the human space, an insult in Viserian culture. Tiny aliens in our favorite spot, Zixes rumbled, voice low and mocking. Vorax joined with a sneer, gesturing wildly. Far too small to claim such a prime location. Do you even understand why this spot is valuable? Perfect for ordering, safe from spills. The humans remained calm, their faces unreadable to the Viserians. No threat displays, no submission. This puzzled Lix. Their usual tactics demanded a show of fear or respect. Instead, the humans sat like stones. Lix stepped forward, slamming his fist on the table. Glasses jumped, clattering in the sudden silence. This furniture suits beings of proper size, he growled. You swim in those chairs. You cannot fill this space. Give it to those who can. One human, Alex, reached up and pushed aside the silver hair with a steady hand. A strange smile curved his lips. Hey there, big guys, he said warmly. Maybe a misunderstanding? We're still learning the ways here. I'm Alex. That's Ryan and Chad. Ryan raised a drink, nodding with a friendly grin. First rounds on us if we offended. Chad, silent and brooding, placed a strange weapon on the table. It was old-fashioned, rough metal with no glowing energy, primitive yet deadly looking. Lix's confidence flickered. These humans acted like they didn't fear the Viserians at all. Worse, Chad's weapon hinted they could fight if they wanted. Alex spoke quickly, warning about Chad's social awkwardness and tendency to shoot first when nervous. Ryan added, he's a bit trigger-happy even sober. The Viserians exchanged irritated looks. The disrespect was thick. These tiny creatures worried more about a friend's nervous habits than the threat of 3 powerful Viserians. Lix's patience broke. He tapped Ryan's mug, sliding it to the edge of the table. The glass teetered and crashed, spilling a precious amber drink onto the floor. Ryan's face hardened. That was worth 15 credits, he said coldly. Compensation is needed. The Viserians laughed, mocking the humans' claim. Such small things can't understand value or space. Lix challenged them openly. If you don't like it, do something. The humans rose as one, their movements smooth and deadly. A silent signal passed between them, no words, just shared understanding. Lix's secondary heart pounded. The fight was coming. Finally, these presumptuous creatures would prove their place. Zixes lowered his head, claws bared, and lunged at Alex. The sound was wet, crushing, a fist striking soft flesh faster than thought. Alex moved like water, slipping aside and striking Zix's jaw with precision. A bone cracked and a massive tooth fell, gleaming white on the floor. Shock spread across Zix's face as rage exploded into a roar. The tavern erupted. The fight was fierce and fast. Alex's strikes crippled Zix's knee with a brutal snap. Ryan was already charging Lix, punches hitting like small shuttles, strong enough to shake organs. Lix's blows should have ended the fight, but Ryan absorbed them like stone, eyes sharp and unyielding. Vorax lay silent on the floor, defeated without a sound, a shadow of power broken. Chad remained seated, calm, drinking as if nothing had happened. The Viserians were stunned. Their strength had been shattered by the 9th strongest species. Alex stepped forward, offering help. "We should get you to a medic. Your friend needs dental work. That knee looks bad." Lix stared in disbelief. No mockery, no humiliation, only mercy. Ryan called for medical aid, guiding the wounded Viserians gently. Lix struggled with his pride, torn between ancient rules of dominance and the strange kindness before him. In this moment, everything he thought he knew about strength and power cracked like broken bone. The medics arrived quickly, gliding through the tavern service corridor with silent urgency. 2 Eltarians, strong and precise, pushed hovering stretchers fitted with technology adapted to every species. Their eyes scanned the wounded Viserians without hesitation. "Blunt trauma to the face," one noted, scanning Zix's battered jaw. "Multiple teeth missing. Immediate dental regeneration required." The other checked Vorax's vital signs. Neural disruption but stable. Someone hit his soft spot with great force. Chad, still seated, drank quietly, unshaken by the chaos. Ryan glanced at him, annoyed. "You coming or just finishing the bottle?" Chad said nothing. Alex sighed but focused on Lix. "Can you stand? Walking with support is better for your knee." Lix tested his weight. Pain shot through his leg, but with Ryan on one side and Alex on the other, he managed a slow, painful shuffle. The crowd parted as they passed, whispers trailing them like shadows. "Look at that size difference. How did those tiny humans break the Viserians?" "High-gravity homeworld," a Shirlani whispered. "Makes their muscles and bones tougher." The thought gnawed at Lix. Earth's crushing gravity, he realized, explained why these humans packed such deadly power into smaller frames. The medical station doors slid open into dim, quiet halls. The night receptionist, an elderly proximan with gray feathers, immediately activated emergency protocols. Pods 3 through 5 ready for Viserian treatment. Critical patients first. Lix sat heavily on a bench sized for larger species, flanked by Ryan and Alex. The furniture made the humans seem small, almost childlike, but their strength was anything but. Ryan pulled out a credit transfer device. "Let's settle the bill before treatment." Lix nodded, feeling the sting of defeat. "We started the fight. We pay." Alex looked surprised but respected the gesture. As the medical pods hummed to life, Lix watched his friends float inside, their bodies suspended in healing fields. Zix's jaw was being rebuilt at a molecular level. Vorax's neural pathways carefully stabilized. The hours passed in quiet company. Alex shared stories of human encounters gone wrong, misunderstandings that nearly led to fights or worse. Chad said nothing but sat alert, like a sleeping predator waiting to strike if needed. Lix listened, absorbing the lessons behind the words. The humans were not warriors glorifying their strength. They were survivors, molded by a harsh world into weapons by necessity, but mostly just people who wanted peace. The door chimed, signaling the end of healing. The Viserians stirred, groggy but whole. Lix stood, steadied by Ryan and Alex. "Next time," Lix said, eyes meeting his friends, "we asked to share the table." Alex smiled, that strange human warmth lighting his face. "Next time." They parted ways, Viserians limping toward their quarters, nursing bruised pride and bodies. Humans returned to their reclaimed booth, ready for quiet drinks. Lix made a silent vow. Never again would he judge a species by size or rank alone. Strength was deeper than numbers, richer than muscle. The galaxy was more complex than any list could measure. He heard Zix testing his new teeth, Vorax muttering about impossible human reflexes. They had all learned the same lesson, one carved into bruises and shattered assumptions. The 9th strongest species by standard measure. But those measures forgot the true variables. The gravity that forged bones, the mindset hardened by survival, the density packed into every strike. And the quiet strength of a species who came from a death world and wanted nothing more than a simple drink with friends. The corridor leading to the Viserians' quarters felt colder now, the weight of defeat hanging heavy in the air. Lix moved slowly, each step a reminder of the damage Ryan's punches had done. His knee throbbed sharply, but it was the deeper ache, the wound to his pride, that truly burned. Zixes leaned heavily on a wall, running a cautious tongue over his newly grown teeth. His expression was unreadable, but the bruises darkening his skin told a story of pain and shock. Vorax followed quietly, still weak from the neural treatment, his usual sharpness dulled. "Never imagined humans could be like that," Zix muttered, voice rough. "That quiet one. Ch." He didn't say a word, but when he moved, it was like the world obeyed him. Lix nodded. "They don't just fight with strength. Their bodies, their minds. Everything is different." The Viserians had always valued strength above all else. Muscle, size, raw power. But these humans showed something else. Speed, precision, and an unbreakable will. Back at the tavern, the humans returned to their drinks, the atmosphere shifting from confrontation to something warmer. Alex, Ryan, and Chad sat quietly, the glow of camaraderie visible in their easy smiles. Ryan caught sight of the gathering crowd staring at the retreating Viserians. "They're probably trying to understand what just happened," he said softly. "Same as us when we first met the council." Alex nodded. "Yeah. We get judged a lot for being from Earth. A death world with crazy gravity. Everyone expects us to break." Chad lifted his mug briefly in silent agreement. "But it's not just gravity," Alex continued. "It's training. The way we survive. You don't get strong just by lifting weights. You get strong by living in a place that never lets you rest." Ryan's eyes flicked to Chad. "That's why he's Special Forces. He's seen things no one here can imagine." Lick's thoughts drifted back to that silent, deadly presence. The quiet one who could end a fight without words. The one who had defeated Vorax without a struggle. That kind of strength wasn't on any ranking list. In the Viserian quarters, the mood was heavy. Pride was wounded and old beliefs cracked. "How do we tell the council?" Zix asked, frustration clear in his voice. "That the ninth strongest species can dismantle us?" Lick shook his head. "We don't. Not yet. They won't believe it." Vorax's eyes flashed with determination. "Then we prove it. Next time we prepare." The lesson was clear. Strength was more than muscle. It was heart, spirit, and survival molded over time. Back at the medical station, the humans prepared to leave. Ryan clapped Lix on the shoulder. "You're tougher than you look." Alex smiled. "And smarter. Remember, assumptions kill. Especially in this galaxy." Chad finally spoke, voice low and steady. "Respect isn't about size. It's about knowing when to fight and when to walk away." Lix watched them go, feeling the weight of new understanding settling in. The galaxy's rules were changing. And so was he. The next morning, the Viserians gathered in their training hall, a vast chamber lined with ancient weapons and relics of battles past. The air smelled of sweat and old leather, mixed with the sharp tang of ozone from sparring circuits. Their bodies ached, but their minds burned with new purpose. Lix paced slowly, his thoughts heavy. "We believed strength was simple. Size, power, force. But the humans showed us otherwise." Zixes clenched his fists, still feeling the sting of defeat. "They fight like shadows, fast, precise, and unrelenting. They don't waste energy. They use their world's gravity, their history, and their will." Vorax, now recovered, nodded. "We need to rethink everything. Our training, our tactics, even our culture." Their leader, an elder named Thrax, entered, his towering frame commanding attention. His voice was deep and steady. "You have learned a painful lesson. The Council's tests measure only raw strength. They do not measure density, resilience, or the will to survive." Lix looked at Thrax. "How do we face a species that breaks our rules?" Thrax's eyes gleamed with fierce wisdom. "We adapt. We learn. We respect strength in all its forms." Meanwhile, on the other side of the station, the humans prepared to continue their journey. Alex packed his gear while Ryan checked their ship systems. Chad stood silently near the viewport, eyes fixed on distant stars. Alex turned to Ryan. "Think the Viserians will remember this lesson?" Ryan smiled, a flicker of pride in his eyes. "They'll remember. It's hard to forget when you're beaten by the weakest." Chad finally spoke, voice low and calm. "They're proud. They'll learn. Or they'll break." Back in the Viserians' quarters, Lix sat alone, his thoughts heavy. He recalled the weight of Ryan's punches and the silent power of Chad's presence. Strength was more than muscle. It was density, gravity, spirit. He stood, determination rising. "Next time we won't be caught unprepared. We'll train harder, fight smarter, and never underestimate anyone again." The galaxy was a vast, dangerous place. full of surprises, and the Viserians were ready to face them. Weeks passed like a shifting tide. The Viserians trained harder than ever, pushing their bodies beyond limits they once thought impossible. Every muscle burned, every breath was a challenge against their low-gravity heritage. They learned new techniques, blending brute force with speed and precision. Their pride was tempered by humility. Lix stood before the training circle, surrounded by his comrades. "We once measured strength only by size and power," he said, voice steady and fierce. "But now we know there is more. Strength is in the spirit, in how hard you fight when the odds are against you." Zixus cracked his newly regrown teeth in a determined grin. "And in respect for those who teach us, even in defeat." Vorax nodded, scars healing but lessons permanent. "We are not just warriors of muscle. We are warriors of mind and heart." Far away, aboard their ship, the humans prepared for new adventures. Alex, Ryan, and Chad shared quiet moments before departure. The memories of the fight and the unexpected friendship lingered. Alex looked out at the stars. "Maybe one day the galaxy will see us not just as fighters but as something more." Ryan grinned. "Until then we keep living, learning, and maybe drinking a little." Chad smiled faintly, a rare softness in his eyes. Back on the station, whispers of the Viserians' humility and the human strength spread through the corridors. Stories told not just of power but of understanding and change. Lix watched the night sky, the stars like silent witnesses to a new era. The galaxy was no longer a place of simple rankings and measured strength. It was a place of complexity, surprise, and respect. He smiled, feeling something he hadn't known before: hope. For the future. For friendship. For strength beyond numbers.